Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching The Thin Red Line by Terrance Malick, starring everyone apparently. I know I'll be recognizing a bunch of actors from the film since it has a huge ensemble cast, and I have seen it running on TV over the years. Terrance Malick is a director that I only know by name. I know he does very high concept movies, but I don't believe I've seen anything from him so far. Last I heard, he made The Tree of Life in 2011. I hear it was pretty good. Do let me know if it's worth reviewing on the channel. About The Thin Red Line, as I said before, I know it has a huge cast of actors. It's set during World War II, and it happens somewhere in the eastern side of the world, the Eastern Front, if I'm not mistaken. I also know it was nominated for a bunch of awards, but I don't know if it won any. And come to think of it, this movie was released in what, 1998, the same year as Saving Private Ryan, which ranks among my favorite war movies of all time. Were these films in competition when they came out? And how come Saving Private Ryan, it's way more famous or well known nowadays? I guess we'll have to watch to find out. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to this movie and over 150 movies, TV shows, early access, and weekly polls for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below, by the way. Please consider being a Patreon. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. The Thin Red Line, Malick, everyone apparently. Let's go. This seems like a pretty long movie at almost 3 hours. So I think I'm in for an epic of sorts. The Thin Red Line. We're in a jungle near a swamp apparently.
What's this war in the heart of nature? Why does nature vie with itself? Is there an avenging power in nature?
I always say movies shot in the jungle, they're very hard production-wise. I haven't seen any Terrance Malick films, but I know him by reputation, and I know he's a very artsy director. And I can see why. It's very stylized, probably very metaphorical. Hey, that's Jim something. He was in The Passion of the Christ.
I heard people talk about immortality, but I ain't seen it.
Malick is definitely taking his time with the introduction sequence. Birds being caged, is that supposed to mean something?
I wondered how it would be when I died. I just hope I can meet it the same way she did.
Peacefully?
With the same calm.
Is she afraid of me? Are you afraid of me?
Yes.
Why?
You look as an army.
I look army.
Yes.
He does. He has that war-hardened look. Sunken eyes, almost depressed. That's a warship.
She's American.
Oh, they're hiding from the patrol boat.
You haven't changed at all, have you, Ed?
Sean Penn.
How many times you been AWOL?
Oh, he's being confronted about going AWOL.
Truth is, you can't take straight duty in my company. You'll never be a real soldier. Not in God's world. Normally you'd be court-martialed.
Yeah.
But I worked a deal for you. In this world, a man himself is nothing.
I've seen another world.
The world you've seen is temporary, my friend.
We're living in a world that's blowing itself to hell as fast as everybody can arrange it. In a situation like that, all a man can do is shut his eyes and let nothing touch him. Look out for himself.
Ah, he's not being court-martialed at least. That was the other dude with him on the island. Ooh, a flashback to his childhood? Nick Nolte.
All the fighting's confined to this area. As you can see,
Work my ass off.
most men your age would have retired by now. It's okay. We need general officers with maturity and character like you.
That sounds a little condescending, doesn't it? So there are somewhere between Australia and Japan.
How much do you want to do?
As much as I have to, sir. All they sacrificed for me. Poured out like water on the ground.
Very layered dialogue. He's saying something and he means something completely different. Good old Sippo. I gave mine away a long time ago.
Yeah, we're gonna be landing. We're gonna be landing soon. There's gonna be air raids. We're probably gonna die before we get off the beach.
So it's their job to catch or capture this island. And holy crap, Adrian Brody.
The only things that are permanent is dying
and taxes. John C. Reilly, holy crap.
All I know, them crew guys said they didn't catch no air raid the last time they made this run.
Man, I love the set. Young men off to war. That's a pretty sad way of showing it, right? They're all demotivated, probably reading letters from home, looking out the window, contemplating their life. Oh, Malick is doing a great job in showing depression and almost being scared of their own mortality, which they should be, because like most of them didn't even return, right?
I took it for 4 months and then I quit. They sent me back to the States and told me I'd never get another commission.
Oh.
Said they'd see to it I got drafted and that I for damn sure be in the infantry.
Oh, that's Miranda Otto. I remember her in Lord of the Rings as a badass. Yeah, I think these flashbacks are meant to humanize these characters even more, make us feel sympathy for them by showing that they have families and they have stuff to get back to back home. Yeah, I think they're making a landing now. And I believe they're actually filming on a decommissioned warship, because that looks pretty convincing.
I like you, Captain. And I just want you to know, well, we're in this thing together, all right?
Oh man, these landing boats remind me of the opening scene in Saving Private Ryan and D-Day, when they get shot. Oh, but I don't think these islands should have bunkers set up. It's very beautiful. And holy crap, I can imagine the production nightmare about filming these scenes. All right, it's officially started. Okay, so it's not a full frontal assault, so I'm guessing it's more guerrilla warfare. That brings a whole new level of anxiety for these characters. Wow. Malick is really showing the beauty of these islands and the history that they must have had. And usually war films are very desaturated, but Malick is not scared at all to use colors.
Your death that captures all.
It looks very lush. Oh. Oh, that looks very realistic. It's interesting, it's been about 40 minutes and we haven't seen any direct action. Malick is still setting up the story.
We're going straight up that hill there.
What about water, sir? Water's not getting up here. My men are passing out, sir.
They're low on supplies.
Once we get beyond that, we gotta attack that hill.
In the late 90s, he did a couple of famous films, including Fight Club. Is this the Japanese POV? These nature shots, man. They're incredible.
It'll look like the Japs are catching hell.
Holy explosion. Dude.
We ain't got no choice. We're picked, so we gotta go. You ain't sick. Get up.
I don't think he's faking it. He's literally having a panic attack. What a beautiful shot. An amazing camera work with the smooth tracking. Move forward? Well, it is risky. That's why they're hesitating. Oh man, they're dead. Holy saturation. Did the weather change or did time pass? Is my question. Oh. Wow. Is Malick using CGI or is this all done practically? Because if it's all done practically, this is Mighty impressive.
Calm down, calm down, calm down. Sir, can I come back to the company after we get back to the battalion?
Okay, but you gotta get permission.
Sure.
All right.
I'm all right.
I want you to get up there and see what the situation is!
Oh, poor bird. I think that was symbolic of children being killed because the bird was clearly a baby, right? They're trash talking. Hey, touch me not flowers. We get them in our country too. The sound design of the bullets, that really got me.
We're right here. Maybe they'll set us up some reinforcements.
Don't put your hope in reinforcements, man. Oh!
I blew my butt up!
Oh no. You can feel the blood draining from his body. That was a emotionally powerful scene.
That's the company commander's job, it ain't mine.
He's freaking the F out. We just saw a butterfly fly through the frame. And this is what I mean when I say Terrance Malick tries to include nature and symbols.
There's nothing anybody can do for him.
I lost all 12. I lost all 12.
I don't think he's 100% there. He's in shock.
I'm moving! I'm moving! Okay, well, goddammit, do the left noise!
Oh, this is horrifying.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna recommend you for the Silver Star. It's the most courageous thing.
Yeah, you say one more word to thank me, I'm gonna knock you right in the teeth.
Wow, what a shot.
2 squads to, first platoon I can send up, sir. Over.
What the hell do you mean 2 squads?
Nick Nolte isn't effing around. He wants it done.
You get a man to him right now with orders to attack, and you move him by the flank to the ridge.
That's suicide.
Sir, I must tell you that I refuse to obey your order.
Oh.
I again request permission for patrol reconnaissance around to the right in force.
Now, in the meantime, goddammit, I want you to hold on until I get there. And if possible, you get those men on the ridge out moving.
Yeah, these individual death scenes, they really get me. They really get to me. But at least they didn't go for that attack.
What are you aiming at, son? Let's go get those son of a bitches. Move up!
John Cusack. Holy crap, I didn't expect John Cusack.
How many of them were hit this time? Not one?
Doesn't even flinch.
We're taking everybody over to that ledge. We may take that ridge by nightfall.
We're gonna get killed if we stay here. Take 6 men and go see what's up there.
On a scouting mission? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the cinematography and camera work has been so stellar. Is that the bunker? Yeah, he's drawing their attention just to see where they are and who's shooting. From what position.
There's a bunker up there. It's 5 guns.
Great scouting.
From their knob up there, those goddamn little Brown brothers can cover the whole of the ground in front of this position for 1,000 yards.
So bad.
So I'm asking for volunteers.
I'll be glad to go back up and lead the way back for a party.
All right, Bell.
I'll go, Colonel, sir.
I'll explain to you the importance of this objective. How many men do you think it's worth? How many lives?
How can you even measure that objectively?
Lives will be lost in your company, Captain. And if you don't have the stomach for it, now is the time to let me know.
This army's gonna kill you.
I haven't talked about the score of the movie yet. It's been pretty good. But the sound design has been way better than the score. Are those dogs eating dead bodies? Oh man.
How come they all have to die? I can stand right here. I can stand right up and nothing happens to me.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just got shot randomly. This film is set up in such a way there's violent set piece action scenes, and then there are periods of silence with the sounds of nature and the soldiers in self-reflection.
Left 25, drop 50.
Jeez. This is the first time you're seeing the Japanese in close-up.
Come on, get out. Stinks around here. All these dead people. Put a cigarette up your nose.
Cigarettes up the nose to cover the stench of death.
Look at him move!
Look at him so happy.
Look at him move! Getting it for you, now that's gonna be the goddamn problem. But hell, it would just be a big thing for the battalion and the regiment too if you did get it.
Oh, he's thinking about the reputation of the entire company.
About the water. If we don't get some water to this.
Don't worry about water. Now we just can't stop now, god damn it, and wait for it.
No, sir. You know they could die from it.
Well, they could die from enemy fire too. You don't know what it feels like to be passed over. I mean, you're young.
Nick Nolte's performance has been the best so far. I mean, all the performances have been really good, but Nolte's is particularly excellent. Poor kid.
Are you righteous? Kind?
Yeah, this is haunting imagery.
Do you imagine your sufferings will be less because you loved goodness?
Oh, close quarters combat. Well, the Japanese are on the run, from what it looks like. Wow, what a scene. And the music here is just excellent too. I don't even know how to respond to this. Just death and destruction everywhere.
Where's it come from? How did it steal into the world? What seed, what root did it grow from? Who's doing this?
It's the politicians, that's who.
Does our ruin benefit the earth?
See them birds up there? They're gonna eat you raw.
Vultures.
Where you're going, you're not coming back from.
Well, we were finally being shown the Japanese side of things, and it's just like the Americans. Yeah, everybody feels pain. They're all humans. And then we cut to something like lush and green, reminding us that nature is unforgiving and ever-present. Oh, we cut back to the indigenous tribes we saw at the beginning of the film.
Staros, I'm relieving you of your command.
I knew this was coming.
I don't think you're tough enough.
Really?
Have you ever had anyone die in your arms, sir?
He hasn't?
Nature's cruel, Staros.
Nature's cruel. That's what all the nature imagery has been about. I was at least right about that. Makes me happy.
I'm going to let you apply for reassignment to the Judge Advocate General Corps in Washington.
I've secured for the battalion a week's rest off the line.
A week's rest? Oh, the men are somewhat relieved, even if it's for a week. Jeez. Look at the lighting work here. This is clearly an art film first, and then a war film.
We wanted to thank you, sir.
Oh man, he's leaving.
We're asking to make that flanking move. We're all sorry to see you go. I feel like you got a rotten deal.
Oh man, he's loved by his men.
I'm glad to be going.
You did good, my man. You saved the lives of your men.
It means you've been like my sons. You are my sons.
Oh man.
My dear sons.
War don't ennoble men, turns them into dogs.
Ain't that the truth?
My dear wife, you get something twisted out of your insides by all this blood, filth, and noise. I want to stay changeless for you. How do we get to those other shores?
This time, I don't think it's a flashback. They're showing her alone. Air raids. Are they getting attacked? A croc? Why?
Dear Jack, I've met an Air Force captain. I've fallen in love with him.
Oh no!
I want a divorce to marry him.
Oh no, it's a Dear John letter. I know what they are. Oh, what a horribly sad situation. He doesn't even believe it, he's laughing.
I have no right to speak to you this way. I can't stop myself.
He's wandering without a direction. Again, that's metaphorical, because he has nothing to live for at this point.
What's your name?
I don't think these natives are as friendly as the ones he was living amongst at the beginning of the film.
I'm out of this war for good, Whit.
That's Thomas Jane. Holy crap, I barely recognized him.
I'll just slow you up. There'll be somebody along.
You still believing in the beautiful light, are you? How do you do that? You're a magician to me.
You explain to headquarters?
Well, we need to send somebody out there to find out where that line is being cut.
They're getting attacked again. An owl. Probably one of my favorite animals in the world. Wow. Is this the Japanese coming out of the woods in camouflage?
Reinforced battalion.
It's Japanese reinforcements.
We need to go back.
I hope they're not making too much sound. Oh, they see him. That's officially this. This is the most number of different types of animals I've ever seen in a war film.
One of us needs to stay here, hold them off. We'll be all right. You go on ahead.
He is going to volunteer.
They're coming. I gotta go. I don't want you to be afraid. Get back, they're coming. Fall back.
Bye. Where's Whit?
Tell him, man. Yeah, I don't think Whit's gonna make it. He's making even more noise now. Who actually deserted at the beginning of the film is now giving up his own life. Yeah, he's surrounded. Put your weapons down is what the Japanese dude is saying. Put it down. He has accepted death. Ah, he's dead. And I can't believe his death scene was so unceremonious. It just took a second and we cut. I understand the metaphor from a very superficial level, but I wonder whether there's more to it. Oh, they're burying him. Well, at least they realized he drew the Japanese away, so the rest of the unit could survive. Well, one more beautiful thing is he's buried by the river, and he loved nature.
Everything you hear, everything you see.
Is that Clooney?
I prefer to think of myself as
It
a
is.
family man, and that's what we all are here, whether we like it or not.
Only one thing a man can do. Find something that's his. Make an island for himself.
Oh, they're getting off the island finally, because I assume they captured it by the end. They're not the same men when they arrived here.
Who were you that I lived with, walked with, the brother?
It's sad, because I realized that they're probably off to their next assignment. because the war is far from over. Yeah, I think the film will end the same way it started. Screenplay by Terrance Malick. And it's based on a novel, okay. There's a lot to think about, I guess. About life, about nature, about mortality. Thank you for the recommendation. Okay, I took a little time to collect my thoughts. First off, that was a really, really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Although I wouldn't say that it was a better overall film compared to Saving Private Ryan, it was different, more metaphorical, and it had themes of existentialism, self-reflection, the meaning and purpose of life, nature, the chain of command in a military setting, and the cost of war itself. I don't think this movie was focused on the war. It was more about the men and what the war did to them. Terrance Malick did a very good job in the director's seat, and I'd consider the strengths of the film to be the cinematography, imagery, camera work, score, sound design, production design, performances, and of course, the themes. The only two criticisms I have of the movie are probably the lack of a cohesive narrative, which I think might be unfair since I've only watched this film once, and art films like this require multiple viewings to completely understand. And the other criticism might be a valid one. It's the fact that the movie had a huge ensemble cast, which made it harder to follow each individual character. I felt like Malick didn't focus on any one character and kept jumping between them, so it was a little hard to follow. Saving Private Ryan, on the other hand, the ensemble cast, I think Spielberg did a little better job with it. Anyways, let's start with the directing and writing by Terrance Malick. This film was based on a novel, which I haven't read, so I don't know how well it was adapted on screen, but from what I saw, it was pretty well done. Let's get the obvious out of the way first, the comparison with Saving Private Ryan. That movie was more focused in general. It was mostly about finding and saving Private Ryan, and the war was the backdrop of the film. It had a straightforward narrative. The Thin Red Line, on the other hand, was technically about the capture of the island of Guadalcanal. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that. From the Japanese, but I don't think that was too focused. I don't think the director was too focused on that. It was more about the effect of the campaign on the men, if that makes any sense. It was interesting how Malick had recurring themes of nature throughout the film. There were so many exotic animals that I kind of lost count halfway through the film. We had crocs, owls, dogs, I don't know, like many different types of birds, vultures. It was incredibly beautiful though. He kept reminding the audience that nature goes on, and he showed the indigenous, the local people, the indigenous people, and the effect the war had on them. At the end of the day, these natives suffered the most, I think, not only through disease that was brought into the island, but also the fact that they probably had a peaceful existence for thousands of years till all these foreigners showed up and literally started a war on their land without even acknowledging them properly. Forget the bullets they probably had to dodge. Just think about the lack of food they had to deal with because of the influx of people on these small islands. I can't begin to imagine the suffering. And that's not to take away from the suffering of the poor soldiers, kids sent off to fight a war on the other side of the planets because of these politicians. I mean, although Malick focused mostly on the Americans, he did spend quite some time in the second act showing the suffering of the Japanese too, which I found very commendable. The film starts and ends with scenes of nature and the native people, showing that life still goes on. I think the film ended with a literal plant coming out of a seed, showing the circle of life. And there were a ton of other visual metaphors I did not catch, but I felt like they were there. There's a lot to unpack here, and I don't think it can be done in one single viewing. Please leave what I missed out on in the comments below. One other aspect I wanted to talk about were the excellent performances from the cast. The list of actors was long, very long, and I don't think I can focus on any single individual, but Nick Nolte's performance really caught my eye. His character was so determined and gritty and real. I don't know. I don't know whether he felt relatable or not, but I could feel what he was feeling. It really struck a chord with me. The other performances were excellent too, especially the death scenes of several characters. They were very hard to watch. Anyways, I really enjoyed this artsy directorial approach by Malick. As I've said before, I haven't watched any of his other films, so please let me know if any of his other movies are worth reviewing on the channel. The cinematography of this movie was just excellent. Everything from the beautiful landscape shots to the focus on nature and animals, they were exquisitely done. And that's not even mentioning the battle scenes. I mean, the sequence where they successfully take that bunker on that hill was just amazing. Sweeping camera movements and close-up focus shots on the horrified faces of the soldiers will stay with me for a long time, just like Saving Private Ryan. The editing, on the other hand, was a little hit and miss for me. Like I mentioned before, I did feel like there was a lack of a clear and concise narrative, and it felt like the story was a little hard to follow, honestly. This might be intentional by Malick. It might be his style, for all I know. This is my first film from him, and I think this movie needs to be rewatched to be fully appreciated. Anyways, moving on to the score and the sound design, which were very good too. Whereas the score was above average, I don't think it was as memorable as other films, but it was very good. I found the sound design, on the other hand, to be top-notch. The explosion sounded meaty and substantive, and the sounds of the bullets as they were whizzing by made me feel like I was a part of the company itself. Really good work in this department. Finally, the production design of the entire movie was of the highest caliber. Seriously, filming in the jungle is extremely difficult, and the crew did a remarkable job here. The location scouts of the film deserve special commendation. Every single location was just so beautiful, and the fact that there was death and destruction everywhere really put things into perspective. The set design, they were flawless, almost, and so were the costumes, as a matter of fact, and the props used by both the army men and also the natives. I really don't know what to say except excellent. As I've mentioned my criticisms about the lack of a coherent narrative and the challenges faced by a huge ensemble cast, overall, The Thin Red Line was an amazing film by Terrance Malick. It was more artsy and metaphorical than I expected. I mean, it is his reputation after all. It explored themes of existentialism, self-reflection, the meaning and purpose of life, nature, the chain of command of the military, and the cost of war. The performances were great, the production design was of the highest caliber, the imagery was hauntingly beautiful. I don't think this is a movie that can only be watched once. As I said before, I didn't catch all the metaphors for sure, and I will be rewatching it sometime in the future. This movie gave me a lot to think about. Thank you for the recommendation. Thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Consider being a patron. Subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you liked this video, feel free to dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one. Bye.